Hi, my name is Grace de la Rosa, and I am a holistic wellness consultant. I'm an educator, a philosopher, a public speaker. My background is in communications. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of North Florida in communications and TV broadcasting with a minor in psychology. So I am also the CEO and founder of Living with Grace, Mindfulness for executives, individuals, and organizations. This all ties in together, and my background also, the other part of my background is in fitness, as a fitness instructor, a group exercise instructor, specifically, a fitness competitor, a bikini competitor, and a model. So all of that comes into play with my current position as a holistic wellness consultant. And as such, I am an advocate for mental health, generally speaking, for quality health care, which would include alternative healthcare options. So we integrate that with the allopathic health care that's being provided to us today on an everyday basis. It's the type of medical care that we all know. But I digress, because the reason that I'm on here tonight, is to talk about a very important case from 1973, Roe versus Wade, and the overturning of that case on July 1st, 2022. One of the things I'd like to discuss is the importance of choice, because now that Roe versus Wade was overturned, that gave each state autonomous rights to choose to ban or not ban a medical procedure. Yes, I called it a medical procedure. It is an abortion. Now, I'm not going to be sitting here talking about those women that have abortions as if it were birth control. I'm not talking about those ladies, those girls and women. But I'm talking about the majority who really, chose to make the hard decision to go through that medical condition or medical procedure. Now let's go back and first talk about the words pro-choice versus pro-life, for choice or for life. It's something that continues to keep us divided, just as political parties do, just as religion seems to be doing lately, and has been doing it for a very long time, actually. Everything has been devised to divide us. What happened to the word community? We have lost the language of the art of communication. We have lost it. We've lost it to these things that are so convenient for us. Yet, The irony is this thing, this phone, is supposed to keep us closer, unite us together. But in all actuality, it is taking us away from reality. The minute you choose to use this, you are now on the virtual realm, and takes you away from now. The beauty is we can use this technology. I'm on Zoom. As long as we use it wisely, technology wisely, and not allow it to use us to replace the God-given opportunity to meet face to face, you know? Unfortunately, COVID was another device used to keep us divided, not only in our thoughts about it, but our behaviors, our words that we use. And much of that was due to the oppressive nature of authority manipulating the facts. Because, you know, just because you have facts doesn't mean it's truth. Facts are not always of truth. Just like data, numbers can be skewed in any way, shape, or form, just as data can be, simply by suppressing all parts of the truth. Pro-life or pro-choice, they make us choose. But do you see? Choice is what makes us so great in this country. And if you choose to ban, well, then I guess you're going to just be banning everything else. When we ban anything, we close the door to the potentiality of further information, of greater knowledge, even if that knowledge is telling us that we don't need that. That is more knowledge. And who are we to suppress any type of information? You're either for or against information. You're either for or against choice. So when I was running for school board last year, I withdrew in April of this year. I was right in the throes of the COVID pandemic. So, you know, our governor DeSantis was helpful in a sense that he did not mandate masks or the vaccinations, the shots. And I was for that choice. I was pro-parent choice, parental choice. You know, I heard parents so happy to be able to make that choice for their child, to make that choice for themselves, really. Because a child, in their eyes, don't have a say, right? They have to make it for them. But they know their children the best. So let me ask you, how is that different from when we're talking about a woman who is pregnant and wanting to, choosing to have an abortion? You're talking about a parent making a choice for their child, the unborn child. Nonetheless, it is their child, their body, just like your children, their bodies, your body, your choice to put that mask on or not. So tell me, how is that different from the woman that is seeking an abortion? Tell me again. And how many of you who are pro-lifers, because that's who I'm addressing here, and I thank you for your time to consider these thoughts that I have. How many of you are for capital punishment? I hear pro-lifers talking about, well, I'm here to, who's going to be speaking up for the unborn baby? Who's going to be speaking up for the innocent person you're about to execute if you're for capital punishment? Even though there's just a handful of innocents there, are you saying that their lives are not valuable enough to save? Because that's, to me, what you're saying when you are for capital punishment. Oh, but they're just a few. Yeah, but they matter. Just as the unborn child matters. Who speaks up for them? "24 states are for the death penalty." This was as of, the 4th of July, according to the deathpenaltyinfo.com. 24 states are for the death penalty. 3 states are with the governor-imposed moratorium, meaning that they've put executions for a halt at this time. So that leaves us with 23 states that are against capital punishment or for life. So again, how is it that it's okay for you to decide that those few people that are innocent on death row don't matter? How is it you get to decide that? Are you playing God now? Because that's what it sounds like to me if you are a believer in God. And the hypocrisy I see in religion. And those of you that say you're Christians, let me ask you this. When you say you're for capital punishment, an eye for an eye perhaps, when you kill that person, when you decide that that person should die, which to me sounds like you're playing God. And yes, a lot of them have done horrific things. But if you are a God-fearing, a God-loving person, then you would say, with God, all things are possible. So why would you not believe that that person you're about to execute can change for the better? Why wouldn't you think that if you believe that all things are possible with God? Pull that plank out of your eye first before you make judgment on others. I don't think that there's any one of us that hasn't committed a sin, so to speak. So who are you to make this decision to kill somebody else? 2 wrongs do not make a right. Just food for thought. And then you wonder why some people don't believe in religion or your God. Because they watch you, they hear you, and for me, when I see that hypocrisy, I remember, there's such a thing called religion by convenience. Pull that plank out of your eye first. Another thing that I find that we need to think about: right to bear arms. We say that we have the right to bear arms for self-defense. Self-defense. That word, but you're actually killing somebody, right? You're killing somebody. Why? Because they're about to kill you. You're killing somebody. But you said you're pro-life. Are you sure you're pro-life? Let me see. If you're for capital punishment and for the right to bear arms, you're still saying you're pro-life, but you're killing. You're saying it's okay to kill these people because, justifying it out of your convenience, for your convenience. The price of convenience is so heavy today. It's okay, for you to eat meat, to kill an animal. And I wonder how many of you that eat meat have a dog and say you're an animal lover, a dog lover, or whatever. Animal lover. But yet you kill for your convenience because you want to eat meat. Even talking about an egg being taken away from the hen. Where's that hen's right to have the baby, its chick? You eat that egg for your convenience and you say it's okay because you're hungry. Now let's take a look again at the woman who's making this decision for their child. It's their choice, just as it is your choice to decide on when to kill something for your convenience, for your sake. And you say you're a Christian? Oh, but it's okay to eat meat, you say? Do you believe that lie? Because was that lie made out of convenience? A lack of education makes one ignorant. I'm not saying I know it all, but I do know quite a bit. And I also know that I need to know more, or that I could learn more. We can always learn more. There's so much in this world that we'll never be able to learn it all in a lifetime. But what I do know is this. Be careful what you're choosing. I do, and I pondered over that over and over again. I am pro-life. I am pro-choice. Don't make me choose one or the other. That's the problem of our country today. And it's part and parcel to a lack of education, folks. We were lied to from the beginning with healthcare, the way we eat. That pyramid, that food pyramid, is wrong. Back in 1907, that's when things started going on the wrong direction. It was probably going in the wrong direction even prior to that, but that was the defining moment in healthcare for us. The Flexner report that was distributed sometime between 07 and probably 1907 and 1914 or somewhere around those lines. This around the same time that the FDA was born. Okay? That was not a coincidence. That was not a coincidence. Read the Flexner report. I don't have time to be doing that for you here on this video. But I would ask that you take a look at that and see for yourself what it is. So they basically got rid of alternative health care, education. Again, when I ran for school board, I really was thinking that might be the platform for me to make some of these changes, and then realized that what I'm talking about is federal changes. I have no desire to run for office, but I do have every bit of desire to share my information and hope that those that do decide to run for office can use this information wisely and lovingly for the sake of the people, to bring back servitude into our leadership of today for tomorrow. But you know, tomorrow never comes because it's always today. So what can we do now? Because that's all we have. What can we do now to make it better? To make the next breath better, cleaner, safer to ingest, inhale, consume. When you offer choice, but both are poisonous, is that really a choice? Is it really? The other thing I'd like for you to think about is this. If you are a Christian who believes in God, we all have our own path in life. We all have our own journey, our own spiritual journey. We may not like what that person has decided to do or not do. You know, in terms of, we're talking about the abortion, okay? One of the problems was, you know, parents making the child, and I'm talking about younger women, feel guilty about deciding to make love, have sex, whatever way you want to call that. And that guilt is what drives them to do that, the abortion. Our society has placed so much guilt and shame on it that women are going to we're going to end up being right back in the past because we keep looking in the past for answers. There's no answers there. That's why it's in the past. It didn't work. At least it doesn't today. Shame and guilt are two things that need to be eradicated from your modus operandi. If you want to see women not choose as often the medical procedure. But with that being said, if you are pro-life and you're saying the woman should carry the baby to term, first of all, men, sorry, not sorry. Until you can push a baby out of your penis hole, you don't have a say. You don't know what it's like to carry a child, and you never will. To carry a child to term, and then to have to deliver it only to give it away. That's selfish of all of us to think that, you know, it's that easy to make that choice. And again, I'm stating this is not about the women who are abusing the procedure and using it as a method of birth control. Those are not the people, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the women that, you know, made love, had sex, and have decided that having the baby is not right for them at this time. I hear you. You're saying, what about the baby? So then you're not just pro-life, then you're pro-birth. Because the life, you know, if you're pro-life, you've forgotten to pull that plank out of your eye again. What about the woman, the life that you're talking, you know, that you're talking about here? The life that is holding the life that you're talking about. Are you saying now the baby trumps the woman who's carrying the child? What about her life? And if you say she should have thought about that before she spread her legs, how dare you judge? What has happened has happened. Again, each one of us has our own journey in life. She will have to come to terms with that when she meets her maker. That's for her, not for you to control. You are not God. You are just the woman that bore that child. We are not our children, nor are we extensions of them. They are their own person in their own right. You don't get to make that decision for them. You can think so until they start having their own thoughts. They're little people. What they value is just as important as what you value. It's neither more or less. You are no more or less valuable than your child. Your child is no more or less valuable than you. When we're talking about abortion, we're talking about one that is unborn. But that doesn't make the woman any less of a parent, any less of an individual that has a thought. If we uplifted the woman who is pregnant and are willing to raise that child, then go for it. But what about the women who have no resources? Are you going to take that? Are you going to be accountable for that because you're trying to be accountable for the choice that they are trying to make or not make? And then now you're going to probably say, well, they should have thought about that. But that's the issue. They weren't planning on getting pregnant, right? Do you think they would have done that if they had thought that they would get pregnant? And again, I'm not talking about the women that are taking advantage of this procedure. I'm talking about your daily person. Maybe it was their first time even having sex, making love, or whatever you want to call it. Fornicating, reproducing, whatever it is. And if you say, that's too bad, they should have thought about that before. It's not just about the woman that spreads their legs, it's the man too. It's both. It takes two to tango. And then if we're talking about rape, well, that's one way. And that's a whole nother story and a whole nother issue. If you're going to ban something and make exceptions, why would you make the choices narrow like that? Open it up and not have the ban at all. I love my state, but I do not like the fact that we are one of the states that are banning a medical condition, a medical procedure. I am for choice all the way across the board. That's one of the reasons why I withdrew. To see the hypocrisy in so many of these people that were just so for choice, for their convenience. But the minute it doesn't work for their agenda, they don't want it. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not going to be put in a position where I have to choose one poison over another. And I applaud those who are choosing to run against the grain in politics. I have so much more respect for especially the underdogs. We need to bring back servitude and remind our leaders that they are servants, that they work for us. They've forgotten the true meaning of becoming a leader. And I'm not saying all, but that which I saw with my own eyes, my experience. These are a lot of thoughts I'd like for you to consider if you are pro-life. I'm pro-choice. I am pro-life. This also means a lot to me because I was pregnant 6 times, married in all instances. My 2 children, grown children, are my blessings. I lost the other 4. My first one being in 2nd trimester where I was already feeling her. It was a very difficult decision in all 4 instances where I lost them. I lost them. I spoke to a woman who is running for office. Not federally. And when I heard her speak, I was saddened, disappointed. Oh, well, you're just, you're an exception to the rule. That's a medical procedure. That's a medical procedure, she said. An abortion is a medical procedure. What were you thinking it was? What else were you thinking it was? A medical procedure is a medical procedure. It's abortion. That was the name given to this medical procedure. Words matter. It's time to start changing some of these words we're labeling things, procedures, processes. The guilt and shame that's why we're where we're at today. It starts with the women. If the women are not being treated with kindness and compassion, no matter the circumstance, guess what that baby is going to turn out to be? It's going to have a hard time. It's going to be sick. It's going to be full of disease. D-I-S-ease. Without ease. Lack of ease. That's what disease is. And it doesn't have to be treated with drugs or medicine. Labels. Labels matter. But unfortunately, the things that are deemed medicine is actually the drugs, and vice versa. As a holistic wellness practitioner in my life, I'm disappointed again that much of the medicine was given to us for free by Mother Nature. Again, if you're a Christian, by God. God-given medicine for free in our own backyard. Unfortunately, many of the yards have been sprayed with contamination. So even organic foods are really not organic anymore. Because even just the sprays of the poisons for the regular types of farming gets sprayed onto what was once organic. So are we now having to choose one poison over the other? Yes, but we just do the best we can. We pick the thing that's better. better for us. Yes, it costs money. Again, another way to divide us. And this is unacceptable. I don't want to see the demise of our next few generations because of the choices that we chose or not chose to do here in this lifetime. What we do in our lifetime affects everything. We are that pebble that is thrown into a pond or a lake with concentric circles building outward with just that little pebble. One little pebble creates all of those ripples. And I'm hoping that all of my fellow holistic wellness practitioners and supporters continue to speak the truth. Speak out loud. Part of the abuse is the fear of not speaking out and telling the truth. Your truth. Every time each one of us shares our truth, that truth becomes clear. And when we have more of the truth and less of the manipulations and gaslighting, then and only then will we see the light for what it is. I don't want you to see it and think it's too late. I had a colleague talk about, his father waiting too long to get treated for an illness. If he had gone a little bit earlier, they would have been able to do so much more with less. But once you get past that threshold of it's too late, then it's too late. Why would you wait until it's too late? Why not do something now? It may seem like it's a lot, but it's not too late yet. So, I'm not here to change your mind on anything, but I am here to share with you the information that I've thought, so that maybe the information might help you make a better, more informed choice. Being ignorant isn't a bad thing. It's being stupid that is. Ignorance is saying you just don't know. Stupid is you know and you still do something that closes the door to everybody else. When we're talking about inclusivity, including all, not most, not many, not most, all, community. And I'm talking about the people that want the help, not the people that just need it, but the people that want it. Some of those people that need it, they don't want to be helped. And I'm going to say, I can't think about those that don't, want the help, even though they need it. It kills me to see all of them just decide that, but that's their journey. Who am I to stop them on doing what they wish to do? I'm not God. All I know is, we all have a role in this game called life. It's no different than football. Each person has their position. Each person has their role. If one of them veers from that role, guess what happens? It messes up the entire game plan, the destiny. And so there's a lot of rearranging in that destiny, you know. And that's why I like to say intellect is only as good as the experience of the knowledge. So knowledge comes from, sources, books, music, videos, whatever you want to call it, chats, conversations, YouTube videos, whatever. That's knowledge. But the knowing is when you have experience of that knowledge. Without the life experience, the knowledge is worthless. And many times, the experience is different from the knowledge. And so the people that experience it have to help make the changes in the knowledge, in the books, in the policies. Because although the policies and books look great, that's theory until it becomes lived. Now we're talking about, objective versus subjective. Truth has been missing the subjectivity all along. We have made science our God. We want everything evidence-based. It doesn't work like that in the spiritual realm. And that's why many of us, many of you are unable to communicate in that realm. And so when you're afraid, you tend to be crude, name calling, the very things that you used to do when you were a little kid that didn't know any better, maybe ignorant. But now that you're older, you know better. Now this is just stupidity. And I know you're not that. Anyways, I need to get to bed here. It's getting quite late. And I hope you come back and see if we can further learn more from one another. So please feel free to make comments. And please use words that are helpful and not hurtful. Use words that are not criticizing, but uplifting. And I understand that you may think that this is criticizing those who are pro-life. It's no different than you criticizing those who are pro-choice. Even you just keeping your mouth shut, to me, is a disgrace. We all have opinions. We all have thoughts. Part of the problem of our country is we want to just keep quiet about it. Many in the spiritual realm are going to be like, well, we just stay in our own lane. One of the biggest sins is realizing and seeing things that are erroneous and you being quiet about it and allowing only the usual 10% to do the work. So you keep your mouth shut and you let everybody else do the talking and just watch how the collective consciousness comes, right? So do you think if we all kept quiet, if anything would make a change? If anything would change? So, something to consider. Kindness does not mean weakness. In order for us to learn truth, we have to share truth. And with that, I bid you adieu until the next time. Thank you so much. Again, livingwithgrace.net. And thank you for showing me who you are. I appreciate it.